These motherfuckers ain't even clean my goddamn office when I got here. I'm mutting y'all. Get your ass, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. All this here was trash in front of me. Who you think got this cleared out? That building right there got trash in it. It's trash. What are you talking about? I need no goddamn donors to come out and help out, because people just want money. That's why I don't fuck with social network. Fuck out of here, man.
Love it.
Yeah.
Right. Love it.
It's your boy Verse, and this is Open Mike with OTR Mike.
Shit, yeah.
Yo, what up, good people? It's your boy, OTR Mike. Let me be the first to welcome you to another episode of Open Mike with yours truly. As I always say, this is the show where the mic is open for any discussion, no matter what it is, who it is, or where it is. And today, I got another hot one for you, and I got two hot guests who are perfect to touch on this subject. I'm gonna bring them in a second, but let me run down what is on my mind. And first, let me thank you again for tapping in with your boy. I appreciate you more than you already know. Y'all keeping me going on this solo journey. Y'all supporting the kid, so I gotta keep going. Right, this is my second episode in less than 24 hours. It's just because I love y'all, so that's why I'm here. But Ed Reed, as you know, Hall of Fame, former Baltimore Ravens safety, is in the news. He is the new head coach of Bethune-Cookman, right? I think, yeah, Bethune-Cookman. And he recently voiced some frustration on how things have been going so far in his first week and a half, 2 weeks on the job. Of course, it would only be right if I brought some HBCU alum to help me discuss this topic. My first guest, who I want to introduce, it's a friend. I'm gonna call him a friend, man. We met this year on some Ravens discussion. Quick rundown, and like I said, this is how my shows always go longer than they supposed to, because I always go left for a minute. But my man, Coach Evans, right? I was happened to be on Hendo's show, Ravens Online Ungatekeepers. If you haven't checked that out, go over there and check that out for your Ravens talk. And we were, this before the season started, we were discussing the Baltimore Ravens and what they looking like going into the season. In particular, we was discussing the wide receiver position. And this is before, obviously, how we know they turned out to not be that great. But there was some optimism that this group could be solid, and Coach Evans was one of those people who felt like, man, these guys need a chance. And Hendo and I were disagreeing, and instead of disagreeing and going back and forth through chat, Coach reached out and was like, man, look, I want y'all to come on my show and chop it up, man. Let's discuss this. And that turned into what we call the Ravens Roundtable. And we do that every Monday, just about every Monday. We did it for the entire season. We got another episode live stream coming tonight, which is Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So y'all need to tap in and check that out. And we, ever since, man, we've been rocking, and it's been real adult, real brother-like. You got six guys of color who are, we don't always share the same opinion, but it's respectable, right? And that's how it should be when you get some brothers together. And that is what turned into the greatness that we put in on Sip to Tally Films, which is Coach's channel, which I need you guys to go over there and subscribe and check out his work. It's not just Ravens, the Roundtable, man. Coach he talks about the Ravens, but man, he breaks down film. He one of the best that I've seen breaking down films. At one time, I had to hit him like, "You're bad, you know what?" with this film breakdown. So go and check him out on Sip to Tally Films. Subscribe and see that good work that he putting in. Coach, welcome to the show again. This is your second time here. What's up, man? How you been?
Happy to be here. Glad you reached out to me to talk about this because I've definitely seen what he said and seen different people, their take on what he said. So I'm happy to be a part of the discussion and to get your opinion and others.
Appreciate you being here and on short notice. So that's love. I appreciate that. My second guest, man, this is a brother of mine, but also a HBCU alum. He is the only Washington Redskins player that I've ever rooted for. And he knows that. Other than that, I can't do anything with that team, as you see what I got going on here. But my brother, Denarian McCants, former Washington Redskin, former Baltimore Raven, former Philadelphia Eagle. What's up, D-Mac?
Good day, sir. How are you doing?
Oh, man, I can't call it. Again, appreciate you being here on short notice. Listen, both of these brothers, like I said, are HBCU alums. As you can see, they are repping, in their own backgrounds. I want to start with you, Coach, to let people know exactly where you repping, how it was at Alcorn State, what you did there, all of the above.
So with Alcorn State being Mississippi, I'm from Mississippi. My hometown is probably 45 minutes from Alcorn. So almost the whole city either goes to Alcorn or Jackson State. And I went to Alcorn, got my master's from there and whatnot. And I didn't play any sports there. I played baseball in junior college, but got introduced to some adult things before I should have. So that kind of derailed my career in sports. But I loved Alcorn, man. And I went to a PWI too. I went to Southern Miss too.
Okay.
And the differences in the experience were drastic.
I would love to hear.
All right, I'll tell you. I'm gonna start with something simple. Financial aid. Second week of semester, second week of school, your financial aid check is where it needs to be in your account. At Alcorn, you might get it after homecoming, which is October or something. You might get it around that time when you already went in the hole with books and travel and all that stuff. So just with that, and then but the flip side of it is I got more one-on-one with the professors. So if I had a real question, I can go to the professor, and I wasn't, who's this? What's your name again? They knew my name. Or I wasn't just a number. It was like I didn't have any classes in like the big auditoriums. It was in regular classrooms. Teachers knew your name, and a lot of them even knew you from high school, knew your parents and whatnot because of how close knit the community was. So the experience from education to the professors caring to your social stuff, it's completely different.
Yeah, man. I mean, me attending Norfolk State for a spell, I totally got that vibe too. And sometimes that's important, man. Like you want to be able to reach the person who is educating you, right? And not have to go through this person, that person, the department chair, to get to who you need to talk to when you need some assistance. So I've noticed that difference too. Mac, you being a athlete, going through the recruiting process, I know your story of how that went down. You had a couple PWIs that was hitting you as well. But I don't want to tell you so. I want you to tell it because it's interesting how that went with you and then deciding on where to go, and you really just coming from and where we come from, looking at like, hold up, somebody trying to pay me to go to school, like you know what I'm saying, or pay for my schooling. So share some of your story of not just your recruiting process, but how it was for you when you ended up at Delaware State.
So I'm gonna try to keep it brief because I can get long-winded. So like I said, I'm Denarian McCants. For those who don't know, it was obviously 20-something plus years ago. We old men now. My situation was I was a basketball player. I am a basketball player. I still play basketball every Sunday. We used to play at Supreme Court 5 o'clock in the morning. Ain't too much change but the location. So I'm a basketball player. So my situation was I didn't have the information. Once again, unfortunately, we're still in first generations. So going back to Wild Lake, I'm still meeting kids who first generation graduate from high school. Going to Delaware State, I'm still meeting kids who are first generation graduate from college. So that being said, unfortunately, we still have a long way to go considering how far we've come. So my situation was both parents graduated from Dunbar High School, and that was it. My dad went to college, but like you said, dealing with adult things, he didn't finish. So I was the first one to get there and finish. But my circumstances were lack of information on both ends, and then the difference in culture. So I use the word difference in culture because when I ended up getting into Delaware State, which technically I was a walk-on, I came back to the school. I graduated from Arundel High, and Mr. Schwartz, I like to use his name because he straight up told a 17-year-old, why would you sign up to go to that school when they have the highest rate of STDs and HIV? So once again, that whole stigma of the fact that it's a black college, obviously something's wrong with it. And unfortunately, from our culture, we ride along with a narrative that we know isn't necessarily true. But going into it, get everything situated, get the SATs. I walk on, I show them my film. They give me some money for football. They give me some money for track. So I'm a 7-foot high jumper, and I led the nation in touchdowns. So that's what ended up getting me drafted 5th round choice to the Washington Redskins. I am a product of Schottenheimer and Richard Mann. And I say Richard Mann because he's put out some of the most top wide receivers in the business. Opportunity is what it is. I got 5 years in the NFL, 4 with the Redskins, 1 with the Eagles, and I was only in Baltimore training camp. So all the kids, when they look me up and they see me in a Baltimore Ravens uniform, I didn't make it. Had major concussion, broke my toe, strained my knee. It was time to shut it down. And then, of course, I'm Delaware State all day, every day. So when people start to throw that name around and what have you done, I have an endowment in my name at Delaware State University. I am a lifetime member at Delaware State University. So when we start talking about what needs to be done and alumni supporting, you can't come for me on that one. So I've done my part of installing an endowment, which will grow forever, whether I'm here or not. And then I'm a lifetime member. So, and I still donate and support and do whatever I need to do at Delaware State. If I get a call, I make it happen. Now, as far as recruiting, like I said, I was a walk-on. And you said something about the PWI. So when I was at Delaware State for 2 years in a row, Towson, the head coach, he got in contact with my professors. He never contacted anybody else. So obviously the portal didn't exist then. And for 2 years in a row, he was like, hey, I need you to come here. We run a spread and you will get the ball. And now the thing about it, unfortunately for me, or fortunate for me, I wasn't that guy. I wasn't a guy who needed the football. I wasn't a football guy. I went to school to get education. I went to school to get a degree. I went to school to get out my mama house. That was the reasons why I went to school. So, as much as I love sports and much as I love athletics and just how I am, intellectually, that's not me. Intellectually, I'm with my community. How can we get ourselves better? So, like Coach said, the first thing he mentioned was administration. That's what we need to get better at. Even as a kid, I didn't understand how a high school down the street had better facilities than a university up the street. So for me, that's leadership. That, we can say, oh, well, the schools are underfunded. What's not underfunded about black people? What's not? We got a whole resource continent called Africa, but yet they don't have water. Every black area in this country doesn't have water. Is that by happenstance or by systematic? So like I said, we can really talk about it, but the reality, I'm on my Malcolm X. We got to start doing for ourselves and keep it ourselves. You know what I mean? So that's where I am with the whole circumstance of which we're going to talk about, later on. But let me digress and let y'all talk, because if not, I keep talking.
Mike, can I piggyback off something he said? He
Yeah, for
started
sure.
off about lack of knowledge, and just to talk about myself in general. I was a baseball player, and coming out of high school, I played football and basketball, but baseball was what I was best at. And so I got offered a scholarship to a junior college, which is where I went. But I also had a partial scholarship to Southern University in Baton Rouge. And he talked about lack of knowing. The only reason I picked that JUCO over Southern is because I didn't know anything about financial aid at the time. I didn't know anything about work study. I didn't know there were other ways I can get school paid for to help pay for that thing. The only two thoughts I had was I can go to JUCO for free, or my mom was gonna have to pay half of whatever this tuition is, and I know she can't pay it. So that, to me, as for not knowing, that's a no-brainer. I'm gonna go here where it's free. Whether go ahead, D.
No, I was gonna say, and as a teacher, they're still pushing that narrative.
Mm-hmm.
They're still pushing all the black and brown kids to go to the junior college first, versus, hey, fill out this paper, you'll get a free scholarship. You'll get grants strictly because you're poor, strictly because you are first generation.
Mm-hmm.
They never ever tell them, like all these counselors, they never tell them how much money sits every year because nobody fills out the paperwork.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a teacher too.
Oh, okay.
So the counselors are not the counselors that you and I knew. Counselors, when we were in school, I'm 45. The counselors when we were in school, they would give you advice on what to do with your life beyond high school. Counselors today, they're test coordinators.
Ooh.
They don't get the opportunity to sit down one-on-one with a kid and say, what you want to do with your life, and then try to figure out options. Now it's the counselors now are, we take this test all this week. They just test coordinators.
Just data.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
There's probably some one-on-one if they have a relationship outside of, like, if that's their cousin or they live in a neighborhood or something like that. But for the most part, the counselors are straight up test coordinators. They don't have the time to sit down with the whole class and try to figure out a path for them. What's best for them. And that's where the parent got to kind of step in and do that. But for so many of our parents, they don't know.
Right. And don't know and then don't have the time. Because like I said, I live in a well-to-do area. If I tell you how I started my business in a lot because of the single mothers. Because all these single mothers out here had boys that they had no clue what to do with. Hey, I need you just, like, people was giving me their kids at 5 years old. I'm like, he's 5. It ain't too much I can do with him. like he's still getting his motor skills together. But they didn't know, they wanted him to be around a black male doing something positive. And like I said, unfortunately in 2023, not much has changed. Now, more information is there. But when I got to work 2 and 3 jobs just to maintain, or like I said, I don't know what to do with this little boy. I don't know how or where to get this information. And then the cultural differences, oh yeah, we'll take care of it. And you know how that turns out 9 times out of 10.
Yep.
As you can see, this is why I wanted these two brothers on here for this topic, because they are already dropping some knowledge and the truth of what goes on, especially like you guys said, man. Like, we all play some type of role in school systems now, and it's just we see it, right? Mac, you and both of you guys coach or have coached all kinds of sports, right? And so y'all been involved in getting kids to the next level. Mac, I know for sure what you out here doing, and I've seen you pushing that, like, yo, these kids want to, I want to go to Miami, I want to go to Alabama, and I've seen you put kids in school, but put them in that direction. Like, man, look, you can go here, get a good education, play football, and I've made it to the league, do this same route. So, it is possible, but you just need the information that you guys are saying that is lacking in our community. So, again, appreciate y'all coming on, and I know y'all gonna kill this topic that we about to get into. So, as I started the show, Mr. Ed Reed is now the head coach at Bethune-Cookman, and he started a little bit of a firestorm on social media this past week with a live video that he did on his own social media, and I'm gonna play that for y'all real quick.
Prime was not wrong about what he was saying. All y'all out there with y'all opinions, full of crap, don't know shit. But needless to say, I just pulled up to work. We're gonna try to help y'all too, man, because I know a lot of HBCUs need help. I'm just here to help here first. I see it all too clearly. All our HBCUs need help. And they need help because of the people who's running it. Broken mentalities out here. I'm gonna leave y'all with that, man. I gotta get in the office. I hope y'all be blessed out there. 336, I see you, my bro. About to pull up, I'm in the office, bro. I gotta get out here. My guys already out here working. I've been here for a week and a half. and have done more than people that have been here in freaking years. And I'm not even hired yet. Damn shame.
So Ed obviously is frustrated, clearly, right?
I wouldn't even say it's frustrated though.
What
as an athlete, you always speak with passion. You live off passion. So it's not even a frustration. It's like it's a fact. You see what I'm saying? Like if we playing the game and I'm yelling at you, I ain't yelling at you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'm like, yo, Mikey, get the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just I'm telling you, I'm giving you direction of saying, like, let's not drop this ball. Let's win this game. So it's not necessarily I'm mad or frustrated to an extent. It's just more or less, how do we win this game, man? And he wears his passion and his love for his people on his sleeve.
And so just to piggyback off Mac, I feel the same way with Ed. I think passion is my biggest attribute, but also my biggest downfall, because you're going to know how I feel about you. Like I can't, and as at almost 50, I should be able to hide it and be more professional. But if I don't mess with you, my facial expressions will tell you that. And something my wife been trying to get me to work on, and I just.
But coach,
it is what it is.
But can we really address that? Once again, that's why I use the word culture. Mm-hmm. Our culture is passionate and emotional people.
Yeah.
That's what drives us. That's what makes us special. That's why you want to see us entertain you, because what we're doing isn't for entertainment purposes. We're doing it because we love what we do.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like the way I am on Friday nights is not for everybody. Well, when I was doing Friday night, it's not for everybody, but it's try to make those young men see beyond today, to tap into something mentally or physically that'll take them beyond this game being over with and me going back to the projects. That I can use this gift I have to get me an education, to get me a good job, to remove my mom from the hood or my brothers from the hood, or to show them the right way. Because everybody ain't going to the league. But you can use your athletic ability to make your life better. And that don't necessarily mean NFL.
100%.
Or NBA or MLB or whatever.
Yeah, because like I say, my biggest thing, I would encourage you, if you still coaching, they don't know the numbers. They're completely delusional on the numbers. Like I didn't realize how many kids think they can make it to the league until I got back into high school. It's over 75% of these kids think they can make it to the league.
And I was like, kids that think that they don't even play high school sports.
Oh yeah,
you have an icebreaker and like, what you want to do with your life in 5 years? I'm gonna be in the NBA. Well, you on a high school team? Nah.
No. Right. Yeah, no. And that's why I said delusional, because I had a kid do me this shit. He was like, I'm going to the NBA. I said, do you play ball? He was like, no. I said, when do you shoot? No. I said, so how you going to the NBA? Yeah, but that's that, you know what I mean? Like that's like, see what I do with my kids, I don't ever discourage them. Mm-hmm. Oh, you 5'10", 140 pounds, and you want to play where for who? Okay, you find me your image at the school you say you want to go to. Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna tell you, Look at the numbers of how many kids from that school are actually going to the NFL, going to the NBA, going to the MLB. And you got to find that number. If you ain't the baddest thing since sliced bread, make sure you get a good education.
Yep.
Right. And so as you know, I heard Ed's clip, and I agree with y'all. I think I didn't have a problem with what he said, right?
Of course not.
And I think that
that's the other media.
Yeah, and I think and I think that, you know, like you guys said, you know, that's him as an athlete speaking with Pat, like that's all he know how to do, right? But it did start a firestorm of some sorts, even from some of our people. And one in particular, shout out to Let Us Debate. You know, he said, "Here we go with this bull. You know what? Again, sir, just coach. If you help that football program be successful, I promise the rest will fall in place. It's not your job to be anyone's savior, but that football program win some games first before you become Deion remix." So, you know, for those who aren't familiar with the situation, what he was talking about was saying Prime was right. Prime never really came out and said, you know, this is what happened behind the scenes at Jackson State. But of course, things get out, and it was talks that, you know, he had to go in his own pocket to fund a lot of things at Jackson State. Administration wasn't living up to keeping their word of what they said they would do for him and his coaching staff and the kids while he was there. And that's kind of what Ed was saying, or that's what I took from him when he mentioned Deion's situation. Other comments, New B Suave said, "Why take the job? We don't need this energy." Which I think is another interesting comment if you add Deion's situation, because that's not what was being said when he was going through his situation. Steezo Groove said, "Damn, bro, can you win a game first? Jeez."
So before you show another one, so right now, look at the mentality of the culture of people. So when these professional athletes who have been around billionaires tell you that when you come to a HBCU, the mentality is broken or misunderstood, because guess what? We've been around billionaires who know how to run the system. If we want to get technically it's not our system. So that means we have to mimic what is successful. The biggest resource the PWIs have taken out of HBCUs are the black boys.
Yep.
Now, that being said, the administration, if you're still walking around with your hands out, waiting for the state, waiting for other cultures to do something for you, we've been waiting for 2,500 years. They've done nothing for us besides make money off of us, off our entertainment and athleticism. Because the NFL has owners. They don't have shareholders. They don't have where, hey, players, you can get into this business too, because they own you. When the NFL started, guess what it said on the t-shirts? Property of.
Sure did.
So let's understand the realities of this country. So that being said, my deal is, I'm not mad at you, but let's mimic what's winning.
Right.
The mentality of all those three text or whatever, you know, the tweets were, just play football, shut up.
Right.
And when my wife was talking about it, she was like, "What's the difference in people saying that than the lady telling LeBron just shut up and dribble?"
Exactly.
Right.
She's like, "There's no difference."
Nah, we have a European mindset,
and that's what I thought was the interesting piece on the reaction to what Ed was saying. If you go back to Deion's situation, right? Oh, he used us, blah, blah, blah. You know, when behind the scenes, you know, no one was talking about the money that he put up to fix the facilities, and the money he brought to the city, and the money that he brought to the school, and things that he, you know, using his connections to get these boys suited and booted, making sure they looking professional, you know, making sure they flying in a professional way, using all his connects. No one else talked about that. They just looked at it as, he hopped off, he left. But it's interesting to me because I don't see if Deion and then now Ed wants the best for these institutions. I don't see what's wrong with that, right? I feel like that's the pot calling, right? And that's the pot calling the kettle, because you damned if you do, damned if you don't. All of those three comments that I just read so far, it seems like they okay with settling for
Shut
what's
up
there.
and play football.
Yeah, which is
Because the mentality, we're not supposed to have anything. We're supposed to live in the projects with roaches and rats. That is perfectly fine for black people in this country, because that's where you come from and that's where you're gonna end up.
and that's the wild that's exactly what I took from it, Mac. And I don't know, that's wild. I got a couple more and I want to get your opinion on this. KJ Carson said there's a difference between some and all HBCU. And all HBCU alums will tell you that all HBCUs are not the same, just the same way all non-HBCUs are the same. Bethune is private and gets funded differently than a school in a state system.
Oh, Bethune's private?
Bethune is private, yes.
Oh, I thought Bethune was a public school.
So he can tap into some resources.
They should be straight.
Mm-hmm.
But
now,
go ahead.
Say, I was interacting with somebody thinking, like, because when Ed went to Bethune, that he could tap into Bashadi and maybe Bashadi would help him do such and such and such. And I had to tell him straight up, Bashadi won't even take care of the people in his own organization. What makes you think he gonna send some money to HBCU?
Yeah, right. But like I said, going back to that mentality, one, I didn't know. I need to do my own research. I thought Bethune was always a public school.
It's private.
But that is a major difference as far as the private schools versus the private schools. Normally HBCU private schools, Meharry, Fisk, Morehouse, you never hear anything from them. Why? Because when you're living comfortable, you don't complain.
Yep.
Yes. You see what I'm saying? So once again, the mentality is still hat in hand. But now knowing that it's private, you still looking at leadership and alumni. Like, how are you allowing this to come around? Now you got this guy coming, he's complaining. Why? Why is this guy complaining about something that should have been taken care of? Like I said, see, like, if y'all remember one clip, Ed had a clip of when they started winning Super Bowls. He told everybody in the locker room, you clean up your own mess. So Ed got a serious issue about being dirty, about being nasty.
Yes. And Mac,
because that's what that is.
Mac, you perfect segue. Let me play the second video.
Yeah, I was gonna
Let me play the second video.
Video.
Second video from Ed Reed. As he saw some of the comments that I read and all the backlash that came in, this was his response.
I chose not to, but now I'm out here walking with the football team, picking up trash. But I'm mutting us. Man, get out of here, man. I should leave. I'm not even under contract doing this. I'm mutting us? Man, get out of here, man. They mutt me. These motherfuckers ain't even clean my goddamn office when I got here. I'm mutting y'all? Get your ass, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. All this shit here was trash in front of me. Who you think got this shit cleared out? That building right there got trash in it. It's fucking trash. What are you talking about? I need no goddamn donors to come out and help out, because people just want money. That's why I don't fuck with social network. Fuck out of here, man.
Love it.
Yeah.
Right.
Love it.
And
love it.
So to your point, Mac, like he was telling grown men that.
Right.
And NFL saying, look, man, pick up after yourself.
Right.
So clearly that's his mindset. He wants some type of structure and he doesn't understand, to your point, with the privates getting being able to be funded a little different. Why is it this way? Why is that building full of trash?
And then
What's
with privates, like I said, they're more likely to get business deals. So like I said, with the public schools, the thing I found out in the research, they don't want to deal with public schools, especially black people. They say the money's like handing black people money is like handing them water in their hand. It's gonna go straight through.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I going to do business? So that's like I said, once again, the mentality isn't business, it's handicap. Yep. And I'm using that word on purpose. So if anybody want to go research it, you got your hat in your hand and you steady looking for that handout. versus how can we do business? Because guess what? Most HBCUs are putting out employees.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? I have a third of your employees that's going to employ this state. Now, how do we leverage that? Because that's, like I said, it's only certain schools are putting out the dentists, the doctors, and the lawyers, but the rest of them, they're putting out nurses, they're putting out teachers, they're putting out social workers, the people who take care of people.
Yep.
And if I'm putting these people into your society and they're coming out and doing well, I need you to do business with me.
Yep.
And that's where the leadership's coming in.
You have to take advantage of what you're outputting. Like you said, if I'm outputting quality individuals that's going to better the state or the city or whatever, I need you to input into me so I can in turn input into them and just make this whole cycle better. Because the more quality individuals we put out, the more money they're gonna make, the more property taxes you're gonna get, the less crime you're gonna have. If you can buy into what I'm selling, but first I gotta have a good plan. I can't just come with what I think and whatever. I gotta have some structure and a plan to put quality individuals in the workforce or just out in general. And then you come in and support it. And the more people I put out, the more people will see that you support it and then support you in turn, whatever your business is. It's a cycle, but we have to have some structure to present to the people with the funds until we get the funds. Now, I think the generation now, the LeBrons, the different guys now are starting to put us, not us, but starting to show young individuals that they can grow and bring their people up and do it the right way. Because what LeBron did with his friends is amazing to me. He didn't just give him, like you said, a handout. He said, look, I'm paying for you to go to school or whatever, but you got to bring something to the table. So Rich Paul brought something to the table. He's one of the most popular agents now.
He held him accountable.
Exactly. That's the word, accountable. Maverick and the production company. And I know it's one more I can't think of, but the two main ones are Rich and
it's
Maverick.
like 5 of them.
Yeah, there's about 5 of them. But the two that are out there that I know of is Rich and Maverick. And he didn't just hand them out and let them coattail and you got to do something. If you're gonna be around me, you got to bring something to the table.
Right. And now everybody's a millionaire.
Right.
And so now they can take maybe somebody that's out in their circle and bring them up, and
that's how the cycle begins and grows.
Now we may not see the benefits of it because of our age now, but our kids and our grandkids maybe be in a generation where we start to move up notches, and
of course
we can have generational and family wealth instead of just making a little bit of money and losing it.
That's the way it's supposed to be in the first place. Like I was explaining to my man Donald, I was like, yo, you got to understand, we live in over $500,000 homes. Our parents didn't, and the parents before that didn't. So they already was working towards us for me to live comfortably. I ain't got to go and, look up my window and make sure nobody's shooting down the street before I walk across the street. You know what I mean? Like I said, that was my issue living in Baltimore. It was like, this didn't seem right to me as a child. Walking down the alley, you got needles, glasses, roaches, rats, all type animals just running through. And this is where people supposed to live? No, man, that's not humane at all.
Another thing, I started teaching financial literacy 3 years ago. And so as I'm thumbing through the book to try to, generate how I'm going to teach it, I'm learning stuff at 42, 40, 41, 42 that I knew nothing about.
Of course.
Nothing about.
Now, that's
and
the
I don't think
trick.
there's no knock on me because I just didn't have nobody to teach it to me.
Yeah, no. Like I said, dude, remember, I'm one generation off the plantation. My grandfather was a sharecropper. My grandmother was stolen from a reservation. We're not as far as they try to make it seem. You see what I'm saying? So is it your fault? No, you're the reason why they dealt with all that pain and hardship. So you can say, okay, now my kids, guess what? I only got 2, but my kids ain't gonna have to worry about it because I'm giving them as much information as possible. Now, what they do with it, that's on them.
Right.
But for the most part, you can't say daddy ain't teach you.
Yep. Or at least introduce you to it.
Right.
Right. So now here, this comment I thought was interesting, right? Part of this I agree with. Darren Briggs said, I love Ed Reed as a player, yet cats that come in temporarily as HBCU saviors then lay waste to all who came before them who have been making lemonade out of rocks for generations. Try my patience. You can't rob me for 150 years and dog me for having low savings today. Now, what I agree with in that statement is this. And where I could see where people took it wrong. The statement before this, when the young lady said not all HBCUs are like that, and Ed just speaking, right, as we said passionately, mentioned that they all need help. We all need to help. And what I took from this gentleman is, Ed, it could have been taken that in his statement where he said, I've done more in a week and a half than people that was here for years done, could have been taken the wrong way and as a slight on those who were there before him, who were really dealing with BS and really making, like he said, lemonade out of rocks, right? So I agree in that sense. And I do want to make sure I mention that Ed has since apologized for his comments.
That's political.
And
Right.
he had to come out and say this, and
Yeah.
he mentioned, my passion is about getting things, about getting and doing better, and that goes for me. He said he fell victim while engaging with the antagonists on social media as well. He's fully aware of hardworking folks at the school, and they're fighting to make things better, more financially sound. So, fellas, we already been touching on it as we've been going, and y'all have been dropping major gems on this, and I appreciate it. But I'm gonna just keep it simple. Does Ed have a point in what he's saying? Do you guys feel like the top at these HBCUs, the mentality is broken and they ran wrong, and then it's being exposed more because they're hiring they bringing in these high profile candidates, former, NFL players who is to people it's a new trend, but it's a not so new trend
It
because
ain't
a
new
lot
at
of
all.
these, a lot of these guys been
Most of them from black college anyway.
They've been playing. They played NFL ball before too, but then you bringing in these high profile names, Hall of Fame players, and it's getting exposed now, right? That when they're getting there, the funds might not be just speculative, might not be being used correctly, or
It
they're
ain't no
showing
Mike.
that.
That's always been an issue with HBCU.
So what do y'all feel in general about Ed's point, and is it true from your vantage point that there's a issue going on in HBCUs with funds and how they're being allocated and how they're being used?
Go ahead, D.
I'm going to say I don't know, because every time I talk to somebody from a board, when I talk to a coach, then when I talk to a player, everybody has a different story. What I do know is that also David didn't beat Goliath. It's a giant that people coming in with good hearts, good minds, coming in, fight. But you human, you get tired, man. So you talking about, hey, we came in, we fighting. And then when you don't have the alumni to back you up with resources, you spinning your wheels. So to an extent, like anything, it's like, yo, I've been here for 15 years and I just been trying to get that done.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And you don't want to give up, because that's not necessarily in our mentality, in our cultural spirit, to give up. If you quit, you know how we think about people who quit.
You quit on
You know
everything.
what I mean? But it's like, yo, I've been here for 10 years and I've been trying to do this, and we're just getting this. Because like I said, a lot of times is we're not together thick enough for the right reasons. Let somebody say something like, I'm going to say Del State. They fired a young lady because she was singing a song. She wasn't of our culture, and she used one of the words that certain cultures shouldn't be using. And they fired her. And I was like, she was singing a song. And he was like, oh, well, she can mute herself. And I was like, so we got all up in arms about a young lady using the word because she's at HBCU, but we're not up in arms about where the money's going. We're not up in arms about these scholarships. We're not up in arms about why little black boys only graduate in high school at 50%. So we want to pick and choose, and it's never a solution. Everybody can point out the problem. I can show you every problem. But if you can't show me a solution, what's the point? Firing that lady, and she was actually a winning coach. I wasn't mad at her. Like I said, she was winning for the school, and they fired her because her friend videotaped her singing a song, and she used the N-word, which was in the song. But yet we was, oh, you can't say that. Oh, then you have that. Oh, but we're not mad about why these young boys are not graduating high school. We're not mad about the scholarships. We're not mad about the money. You're not putting money in. But you mad because somebody used the N-word. Woohoo! And what did we solve? We got her fired. She's probably got another job by now, and we're still in the same position.
Yep. My thing is, if you're gonna be that fired up about that, take that same passion and emotion about everything. Don't pick and choose what you're going to poke your chest out for, or make sure you get an action or reaction for. But Mike, as far as your question, there are differences. There are. And I can't put my finger and say they should do this, that, and the other a certain way. But it's an analogy I like to take is just say you're athletic director. It's a brand new job for you, and you kind of have a general idea of what the job entails. Why not go reach out to an AD at another school that's been successful and ask for their advice? A couple of them, and maybe you pick one thing from this guy or a young lady, and one thing from this school and one thing from this school to formulate your own opinion of how to be an AD. Our problem is as people, the pride. We won't go and ask for help. We'll just try to figure it out, and we'll develop bad habits. We'll get, we'll start. That's probably what some of like the allocation go wrong, because they think they're doing it right by putting it over here on the right side, when actually they need to be spread out over the middle, left, and right. And because we won't go ask for help, and the help don't always have to be from us.
Oh yeah,
because there's some people that are not my skin color that will help me out in a heartbeat.
Right.
In a heartbeat. I left my high school, finna go to another high school, and they wanted me to leave the school entirety. The guy that I was working with, a white dude, the only person went to bat for me. Like, damn, that put his job on the line for me to keep doing what I was doing. And some brothers that wouldn't have went that far for me. They were gonna risk their job for me, and he did. And so I'm forever, indebted to him for that. But still, ask for help, learn the right way to do stuff, and take the pride out of it. Because if you're in anything with HBCUs or coaching, it's for the kids anyway.
Well, I was going to chime in on that also,
because for the kids.
Me observing, this is just some observations. Some people get comfortable and cool with their situation, and they really could care less.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So we have it's such a big, broad brushstroke when we start talking about how and which direction we can start to fix this. But like I said, I'm looking for solutions. You see what I'm saying? You can't hire 100% great staff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like I said, you might have a good resume, and then I'm only going to be here to go to the next situation.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because I've heard that plenty of times too, where, oh, well, he just needed a job, so he settled here for a little bit because he knew in the next couple of years he'd talk to this AD over here, and they was going to open it up when this person went this level. And I've heard, like I said, and I'm talking off of personal experiences of things I've seen. So I can't be the only one who's seen or experienced this.
Right. And the thing is with the coaching, I mean, if you're good at it, just like Prime, if you're good at it, they're going to want you. And a lot of stuff that the people are mad about Prime, they don't mention all the good stuff. They don't mention the money they brought in with Michael Strahan, because that's the suits that the Jackson State wearing. That's Strahan's clothing line.
Yeah.
He did that as, for them. Brought Good Morning America to the Jackson State.
Coach, I'm going to chime in.
Go ahead.
According to the fiscal report, while Deion was there, that city made $30 million.
I was going to get to that. That was going to be on the back end of it.
Okay.
He brought Good Morning America there, brought Game Day there, which I don't want to say it's ever been there, but I don't want to be wrong. Because I know there were some times.
I think that was the first. I think that was the first time they went to an HBCU, if I'm not mistaken.
We had a boatload of big crowds when Steve was around, but I don't know when Steve made the Heisman run. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he should have got the Heisman.
He should,
but that's just my opinion.
He should have. That trophy that Deion walked past every day in Colorado, that should have been Steve's trophy. Because Rashawn Salam won it that year. Those kids going to Miami. A lot of those kids had never been out of the state. They got to go to Miami
Shoes.
twice and play
Some of their own
FAMU.
towns, right?
Some of them own towns, right? Just the exposure. He taught them how to market themselves. You as a coach or anybody come to the practice, you see their social media tag on the back of their shirt. So now you can go look them up and see if you want to do a deal with that person based off of, you'll have a general idea of how they handle themselves, what's their digital footprint. And you'll see a lot of them that he probably, once he got them in there, he taught them how to clean their social media up and what they should, do on social media. Again, the Cedar Jackson packed every game. And there were times before Deion got there where they were packed, but they were winning, but not to the tippy top, because I've been to a plenty of games in that stadium. Plenty of games. And last but not least, is one of the most underrated things I think Deion did was brought Brittany Renner in to teach those guys to give them an example of how not being genuine with women can derail your whole career and your bank account. Because she spit some balls on them. And what a lot of people don't know is she was an athlete herself. From Mississippi, from the coast. And if I'm not mistaken, she went to Jackson State too. So bringing her in to speak to those kids about how some women go about their deal, that's life changing for them. Because now if they do get a little change, they can go out and know how to maneuver through the traps, through the thirst traps. But that's an underrated thing that nobody talks about. That's probably going to help somebody in that group maneuver some stuff that go on.
Because what a coach ends up, if you ever watch any team, 9 times out of 10, the team becomes the coach's personality.
Yep.
Because I do it with my kids out here. A lot of these kids don't have confidence, no matter how talented they are. And then when they meet me, how I talk, everything's positive. Everything is and if you notice, his greatest word that he always used is believe.
Yep.
When you use that word believe and you get kids to believe, they can do whatever they want. So Deion just gave them his personality, his confidence. And most likely, most of them going to be successful after the fact.
True.
So while we here, I did an episode on the situation with Prime and the backlash he caught from leaving. And like I said, I kind of did it on the whim. Mac, you reached out like, man, you should have hollered. And I was like, man, it was 2:00 in the morning. And I just jumped on and
I might have been up.
Right. Right. So why I got y'all here, man. And you said the same thing too, Coach. When you heard the episode, you was like, man, you should have hollered at me. So why I got you two here? What's your thoughts on that backlash that he caught for leaving? Are they right for feeling like he used them as a stepping stone? Is it wrong for using them as a stepping stone if he did? And do you feel like he bailed on them, like some people are saying, or trying to set that narrative? And when would have been the right time to leave? You know what I mean? Like how for somebody in that situation, what is he supposed to do? Start with you, Coach.
Okay. Being from that area and understanding a lot of what the people were going through, and if you don't know, and it's probably gonna be a shock to some people, I think Prime is the greatest athlete to ever walk this earth. I'm a huge Deion fan. Before we even start talking about this, like Prime was all over my wall in high school. I thought he was the stuff, and I still think that as far as an athlete. But you got to look at they were hurt. Deion brought them people a sense of pride, a sense of something to believe in. Like you said, they believed in it. And I don't think there were never been a time where he would have not gotten backlash. Never. But there was never a time that he was going to stay there the entire time either.
Right.
He had to start somewhere. And Jackson State was not his only offer. And my opinion, this is my opinion, this is not fact. I think he chose Jackson State because he needed to find a place where he could coach, but also where Shadua could start right now.
Right. And
that was, Jackson State for him. And the fact that he was able to get kids in, which if you know Deion, you know that was going to happen. And for them to run the SWAC the way they did, that part was going to happen anyway because of Deion. If I'm a top DB like Travis Hunter, yes, I want to play for Deion. And the fact that Deion was bringing in, like he had Dolph in there, he had Snoop Dogg in there, had Rick Ross in there. Why do I not want to go and be a part of that? And so is the next guy, and who I know the next guy, like we have a mutual friend. I know the next guy. Those shoes that he has to fill now are enormous, and I don't know if he can do it. I don't know if I wish TC the best look, but what to follow Deion is tough. And on a smaller scale, in 2 of my jobs here in Tallahassee, I've had to follow Jacquez Green.
Ooh.
A legend.
Mm-hmm.
A legend.
Jacquez was up here with me.
A legend. And we cool. Jacquez actually hired me to come here, but I had to follow him, and because of his resume and my resume don't look the same, it was tough for them to buy in. They didn't want to let go of what Quez, and I ain't speaking negative on Quez. I love Quez. They didn't want to let go of his legacy and then bring in this guy that had to grind to get where he at. You're not saying Quez did. I'm not saying that, but just because Quez played in the league and he's been around a lot of football, and I wasn't. It was tough for the kids and some parents to want their kids to be coached by me. So I had to prove it to them first that I knew what I was doing before they would be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, coach got know what he's doing." And so it's tough to follow a legend in any situation. And in that situation with Deion, them people, they know they probably finna go to the back. They ain't gonna say they go in the back of the sweat, but FAMU's finna run it. FAMU's about to run it because of, Prime had that effect. You said they got the series and everything.
The personality.
Mm-hmm.
People fell in love or fall in love with the personality.
Yep. Mm-hmm. He was good to the people. He would promote local businesses. When he first got there, he went to a family's house and ate Thanksgiving or Christmas or something. Mm-hmm. He picked a random family. They went into their house and had dinner with them. Everybody can't do that.
Right.
Everybody can't do that.
What about you? What about you, Mac? What you think about the backlash that Deion caught for leaving? And do you think it was warranted?
So I'm going to say, knowing our history in this country, you always have the house Negro and you always have the field Negro.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that is now our culture. So like Coach said, no matter what, somebody was not going to agree with him. Unfortunately, it's too much in our cultural DNA to say, "Oh, here we go again. Look at this here." Yeah. Already knew he was, because we're taught to be negative to anybody who looks like us. Like one dude made a statement, and I thought it was the realest statement. He said, with all this drill music, he said, when you go walk down the street, when these boys are looking to take out their ops, they're looking for people who look like them. Mm-hmm. They're not looking for anyone else, because if you look like anything else, you're not my opposition. And it's ironically that you're looking for oppositions that look like you. Right. So with that mentality, it's greater than just, oh, he came in. Because for me, I thought it was a great business move. I said, dude, he came in, brought in $30 million, and he kept it moving. That's business. Mm-hmm. Like he stated, name one coach that's been at the university for their whole career. It doesn't happen. And right now, you might get 3 years. Del State just got rid of my man Rod. And he had to recover from the coach previous before him. Mm-hmm. He was just starting to get over the hump, and it was like, well, you got to go, buddy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like you have no control over that. Right. So to an extent, he couldn't win for losing or losing for winning, because if he came in and was sorry, they would have clowned him. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we know our culture enough to say no matter what, he wasn't going to win. But what he did do was positive for everybody, whether you want to see it or not, because he did great things for that school. He did great things for those kids, and he did great things for that city, let alone the state. And then HBCUs. I don't think it trickled down as much as people think it did, but it brought light. And then now Ed's in it. It brought more light. Then you got what's my man? Big George over Tennessee. But once again, it's personality. Yep. Because ain't nobody going to see Tennessee State.
Because George don't have the same personality.
George was a warrior. He was a big old joker. He was gonna punch you in the mouth. Now, if that's how he treats his team or whatever, he the character of his team, I'm not sure. But Ed, you see Ed already. Ed got the firestorm in a week and a half.
Right. D-Mac, you see Hugh, you see what Hugh's doing? That's
I'm
not Hugh.
A fan of him.
But I'm saying, but what he's like him, they got like a Rolls Royce or Bentley on the, and he was, that's not Hugh.
No, that's not even HBCU. That's not Black College.
Right. That's him
because
trying to portray something to get kids to.
and it don't like I said, he needs to do business with whatever's local to get facilities because I can imagine at 18, like I said, for me, I was a grinder. I really ain't care. I just wanted to play sports. I ain't care what I had. As long as you put me on the field, I was good. But for kids nowadays, if it don't look good and shiny and glitter,
Yep.
I don't want it. What I'm gonna come here for? Like I said, when a high school down the street look better than your facilities.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Instead of renting that Maybach, they should have bought a new weight room.
Like, and that's part of the problem with Alcorn. And Alcorn is mainly location. Because Alcorn is not around anything.
Yeah.
Not around anything.
It's a lot of corn.
Yes. It's a lot of fields, a lot of horses. It's not around from the main highway. It's another 35, 40 minutes.
See, and that's the funny part. I'm gonna chime in on that. Even the separation of the southern HBCUs versus the northern southern HBCUs, because they try to clown Dell State, all y'all in the HBCU. I said we still below the Mason-Dixon, buddy. But if you're talking about Morgan, Coppin, Dell State, Norfolk, Hampton, Howard, we have a different vibe than when you go to those rural country back road schools. Because I had one of my kids go, he went out to Wichita. He was like, Coach, only thing out here is a Walmart. I said, you know what state you went to, right? I was like, do you understand where you went? I was like, ain't nothing out there anyway.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So it's just understanding that, and people always mess with me like, oh, it's not a real HBCU. I was like, no. You got to remember the Chesapeake is where they brought a lot of people to. So the dispersion of black people, and what I found out, actually, Delaware, the state itself, actually, I think it's actually more heavily black populated than most states. Yeah. But don't fact check me on that one.
Well, look, man, we are a little over an hour, man, and this was perfect, man. It was exactly what I anticipated. Again, like I said, I appreciate y'all hopping in on short notice. That's kind of how I've been functioning lately. I don't know what the day gonna bring me. So the fact that I hit y'all probably an hour and a half before we actually started, and y'all was like, yeah, I'm in. Like I said, that's love. And I know, Mac, you always down to talk on things like this, and you do your own live, your IG lives, and you've been on this for a while.
Nah, I like yours because I could be a little bit. I can't put it on my stuff. So I gotta use your platform because I get in trouble on my stuff. So I gotta watch what I can say. I can always say it because this is
can't mess your business up.
Yeah, so I gotta. I just post the kids, let them work out, and you hear me 1, 2 in the background. That's
yeah.
Now, if I say what's on my mind, I give it trouble.
But I remember about, when was this? I can't remember what brought this along, but this was probably a year or two ago, and you were discussing, the money situation with these schools and what's going on, and like you said on this show, you always reach out before you go live. You'll say, hey man, I'm looking for presidents, former presidents, advisors, any of that can shed some light. And like you said, sometimes they got a lot of them that run from that, so it's hard to find the right answer. Like you say, you'll ask somebody and you'll get 6 different answers from everybody that you run into. So that is something that you hammer it down, and then both of y'all both rep y'all situations and where y'all came from all the time. There's not a time I haven't seen either one of y'all repping what's going on. So before anybody jump in the comments and say they harsh on the HBCUs or whatever the case may be, both of these brothers have repped their situations for as long as I've known and seen. So quit that mess out. Let's just be real. It's a time where you got to be real with situations, and that's the only time things are going to get fixed. That's the thing that I appreciate what Ed is doing. That's the thing I appreciate what Deion was doing. You got to bring light to these situations so that, you know what? A lot of people don't even know what's going on like that. You know what I mean? So you bring light, and then that's how you fix it. That's how you put it. You got to apply some pressure. There's some people, I don't even think I put that up, but there was a comment or two where, there's this type of this type of situation should have been kept in house. Why? What that's going to fix?
Right.
That's like the domestic violence. Hey, don't say nothing that you're getting whooped every day.
Right. So we gotta be okay with feeling uncomfortable in some situations, even if it's dealing with us and dealing with our own people.
That's the only way change happens.
Yeah.
For sure.
When you uncomfortable, when there's pain. If there wasn't pain, if there's not the reason I love pain is because pain gonna make you change something.
Yep. Like you said, you get that little, you hit that little fire.
Perfect example. It's pain in your ankle, you're gonna change the way you walk.
Right. Yeah. It ain't gonna happen no more. You ain't gonna do that no more. So, but fellas, man, I appreciate y'all. Of course, D-Mac, let the people know where they can find you, man. Where they can find you, what you got going on, and all of the above.
Yeah, no, I keep it simple now. I got too many jobs, so I gotta keep it simple. So I'm a teacher now, personal trainer. Everything can be found under Coach McCants. I'm always open to key speak, motivate, whatever for the kids, even for the adults, because sometimes, like I'm realizing, like I said, confidence comes easy with me. So even like I said, working in the school system, when I hear some of the teachers talk to me, it's like they don't have confidence in their, not necessarily abilities, but how they approach some of these kids, especially the Black and brown kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can be found on all social medias. I ain't hard to find. I am no longer the only Dudnerian. For a long time, I was the only Dudnerian. In 2012, it's a whole bunch of them now. I research my name every year. So in 2012, I was officially in baby books. So now when I look up Dudnerian, I found like 15 of them. So, but I'm Coach McCants at all social media platforms.
And like I said before, look my man up, right? He like only Redskin that like I said that I've ever rooted for. He led them in touchdowns for y'all that one question, when he did his thing. That was under Spurrier, right?
Yeah, I led the team. It was only 6 touchdowns, but I was coming off the bench too. So if they would ever put me out there, I would have had more. It froze me out too. That's why I don't like you. Just so you know, Coach.
I wasn't gonna ask.
I ain't want to go there. I ain't want to go there. But yeah,
he was the offensive coordinator. Yeah, he froze me out. I was on the same rotation as when I was in college. So every third catch was a touchdown. So the first 3 games, I had already had 4 touchdowns.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I only ended up with 6 because by the 5th and 6th game, they stopped throwing me the ball.
Yeah, it got political there. But so like I said, man, look my man up. He did his thing, and he put me in a lot of situations, rubbing shoulders with a lot of people that I don't have no business being around. You know what I mean? And
yes, you do.
Put me up in skyboxes and all of that. So and getting me and walking me through the line at clubs. We was big time. We ain't waiting no lines in DC, but that's a whole other story. Coach Evans, man, you are a busy man yourself. Like I said, you got Sip to Tally Films, and you got more Sip to Tally Films. Those are your 2 channels. Then let the people know where they can find you and what else you got going
on. Well, obviously the 2 YouTube channels, Sip to Tally and more Sip to Tally. On Twitter, you can find me at Coach Evans 9, and on IG and Instagram, IG and TikTok, you can find me at Sip to Tally Films. And I'm just grinding videos, man. Just trying to grow. Got 10K in my sights. I'm right on the 8,000. So I'm just trying to get the 10K. And if I go back, if I can get the 10K, I may not go back and coach because in Florida it ain't worth it. So if I get the 10K, I ain't got to deal with parents no more. I ain't got to deal with everybody thinking they D1. I can come home. I thought
in Florida they paid y'all like the room up here that y'all get paid down there. That's always the rumor.
Can I curse, Mike?
Of course.
No.
You heard Ed's video. Ed ain't do nothing but
check this out. In Mississippi, when I moved to Florida, I was the OC and the JV head coach. I moved to Florida as an OC. I lost 10K. The only benefit for me was moving in with my wife, and we had 2-income household. But I lost 10K in salary. Not teaching, just football.
But that's what I'm saying. See, Coach, we don't even get that. Like assistant coach up here, I get 2,500.
No, I didn't get. So I get that as assistant now here. The thing is, the head coach is only get like 4,000.
Right. So
if they get that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's no different than
But
that's why you said
in Mississippi, they the minimum is like 20. And then you got coaches maybe 8 miles up the road from me in South Georgia making 100.
Wait.
just coaching high
They
school ball.
paying their coaches $20K.
Just the coach and the head
That's
coach.
what I'm saying.
And a lot of
Wow.
coaches are like head coach / AD. But in
Oh, if I'm
Georgia,
the head coach AD, that's a wrap.
yeah. In Georgia, you
I'm
got
paying
your top
myself
tier
all the
coaches
money.
making 98, 99, up to like 130, 140.
Just high
And in
school
Texas-
football.
Just high school football. And Texas is even more ridiculous. You got about
Wow.
45 people in Texas making 6 figures.
Sheesh.
So yeah, when they like I said, because and I know what you mean, because I had one lady tell me for an hour and a half I hated her son. So I was just like, I was like, lady, I get paid $2,500. That's gas money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially
I'm
at that
doing
time,
this for
gas
the
was
love,
$5.
clearly. Right.
Man, we had 6 days a week. The coach we had wanted to watch film on kids. Man, we had 2 kids that was gonna do something. And I'm like, you want to watch 3 hours of films for what?
Time management, man. Time management.
Hey,
The one good thing I took from the pandemic is head coaches realized that we ain't got to sit in that office 95 hours a week. We can Zoom meet. We can do all kinds of stuff from home.
Look here, coach.
Get the same stuff done.
I'm gonna say, I ain't gonna say if. I'm gonna say when I become a head coach, the game plan's simple. We ain't gonna sit there and watch film all day, every day. First down, second down, third down. Let's go home.
Yep. What's the plan on them downs?
Right.
And maybe a red zone plan.
Right, because how intricate do you have to make it? Most of these kids don't have the ability to do what 90% of these coaches are trying to get them to do.
A lot of adults don't realize this about Jimmy's and Joe's.
Man,
and less X's and O's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, if not, we're going.
I gotta get y'all back on, man. We gotta do this again and chop it up on some other topics. If you aren't already subscribed to Sip to Tally Films, man, do that. You know, probably all my listeners, most of y'all are, because Coach has helped me build my channel for being on weekly on the Ravens Roundtable, which we'll be doing tonight. And I think we're gonna keep it going. I don't see no reason why. This gonna be an interesting off season. So I could see us having a reason to continue to chat. So check that out, man. Ravens Roundtable and Sip to Tally Films and more Sip to Tally. Coach, let me ask you why you're here, man. What got you? I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with coaching, man. But what got you continuing to break down film like you do? And when did you know, like, you had a talent for it? Because, like I said, some of the stuff you breaking down, and I'm looking at it like, damn, I ain't see that. Like, you know what I mean? And it's you have a great ability to pinpoint one situation where everybody else's eye is on something else, but you seeing something totally different. So when did you realize you had a talent for that, and what keeps you going with that? Just doing film.
And D-Mac can probably attest to this. All I'm doing is what I would do with my kids in a film session. I'm just doing it on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's all I'm doing.
Film session.
And it was easy. Like if we have a film session after the game with the kids, that's all I'm doing. The same stuff I would teach the kids and try to give them ways that they can win or be successful. That's all I'm doing. I just don't have no vested interest in the Raven. Like on top of it, with my kids, I'm doing the exact same thing. Right. And what got me started was one of my former players is a big time Cowboys YouTuber, Vash Lombardi. Okay. Vash Lombardi played center for me in high school, and he has like 80,000 subscribers and is a part of Colin Cowherd's The Volume Network.
Oh, okay.
He got, because I had just a regular voice podcast, and he was like, Coach, well, you taught me football, just try it. And I tried it, and in like early stages, he helped me to how to do stuff and whatnot. But then once I, got to it, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna do what I do anyway. Because I would come home from football practice, I would upload the film, I tag it, I do like like we got now, I do a voiceover while I'd be in the corner talking to the kids, and I just take that off. Then at like 10, 11 o'clock, then I put on some Ravens film until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So I basically just would get home, kiss my wife, get something to eat, and just do film from 7 to probably 1 or 2. Then wake up and do it again.
Woo!
Wow.
Because at the time I was an OC, so I had to do it because if we didn't, we was gonna lose. Right. I wasn't the best coach, but I mean, I just took what I was doing with the kids and transferred them to YouTube, and it's fun to me.
Yeah.
It's fun to me seeing.
You got love for it.
If you could pick up on tendencies and stuff like that, That ain't work.
It's all tendencies.
Yeah, that's not work. That's what I like to do.
Right. That's not. So it ain't work. It's love. All right, man.
Editing is work, like Jose got to do.
Yeah. Listen, he got some work to do in this one. Yeah. Shout out to Jose. Shout out to Lunch Break Hot Take, man, and shout out to the crew on the Ravens Roundtable. My man Chris, Rodney, Jose, Hendo, Coach, and of course myself. Shout out to my man D Mac, my brother. Listen, for those of you that don't know, man, we've known each other for damn near 30 years. So I've watched him throughout his career, man, and make it. I couldn't have been prouder than anybody to see him reach the heights that he's reached, and then seeing him touching these kids, and then even more to me is greater that he's helping these kids get on the next level and getting them playing and getting their school paid for, man. That's big. So D-Mac, salute to you. We're gonna do this again. This is another episode of Open Mic with yours truly, man. Follow me on social media, OTR_Mike on Twitter and TikTok, and OTR Mike _ on Instagram. Man, I appreciate y'all. You know, I'll catch y'all in a week or two. You know, I'm trying to get on that schedule, but I'll be here. Until next time, I holla. Peace.